Action fanatics, welcome to a very special April Fool's edition of the Bulletproof Podcast. I'm the head fool here, Chris the Brain. Joining me is a bald fool named the Toyman, Chris DePetrillo.
A fool that is too cool, but not too cool for the Bulletproof Podcast.
Not at all. And the final fool in this trio of fools, Ryan Campbell.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the podcast. It's going to be a great episode.
Ryan Campbell, you sound quite different than you have in previous weeks.
It's the April Fools. It's my gift to you all.
Prank.
That introduction might be more entertaining than the subject matter.
It's probably more entertaining than any introduction I've ever given, but that's, fine. It is April Fool's, and I'll tell you what, this one, there were so many ideas. I mean, it was first like, well, it's, a funny day, jokes and whatnot. Let's do a classic action comedy. Let's do Armed and Dangerous. But then these bastard streamers, nobody had it. So it was like, well, maybe we should. Then I thought, well, maybe we should just do something completely like we could do anything and make it like we could have done a freaking rom-com. We could have done anything and just been like, this is our new format and blah, blah, blah. I also thought with our moving over to YouTube and putting stuff on YouTube, we could have just pretended like we had this state-of-the-art studio. We could have kept talking about this state-of-the-art studio we were sitting in, and maybe people who listen to it on the Spotify or the Apple or the iHeart radio, they would be like, oh, we better go check out the YouTube, and it would just be the same damn thing.
You guys aren't sitting in a state-of-the-art studio?
Well, no, I'm not. I'm sitting in my basement. So there was all this thing, and then, of course, Toyman decided he would play a trick on all of us and suggested we watch Blackbelt II Fatal Force.
Now, to be fair, it wasn't a trick, especially for you. You know my feelings on this film. Ryan, I know that you're kind of just warmed up to the idea of this film, having just endured it for the very first time. But this is a film that, if there are bitter rivalries in life, one of them is between me and this film. So I said that we should do a hate watch.
Right.
And for me, it would be having to go back and having to endure this movie again after it disappointed me so much on my first viewing. And for you guys, this was, for you, Brain, this was kind of you finally putting a visual to all the complaints you've heard, all the inside references and jokes through the years. And Ryan he was the total absolute victim in all of this because he went to this one. He might have walked out of this one a changed man.
I wanted to do the director's cut of American Samurai.
No, we're not going to do that. All right. I mentioned YouTube, and we need to welcome anybody who's starting to check us out on YouTube. Definitely seem to be getting some new listeners. And I want to thank Ryan Campbell for orchestrating that and getting our YouTube channel back up and running. But yeah, that Death Wish 2, it blew up.
Yeah, I mean,
it blew up.
And that is, I can't tell you how rare that is. So I have two other YouTube channels for other shenanigans that I do. And I can't tell you how taking time away from uploading videos, how that just absolutely kills you with the YouTube algorithm. And for as long of a break as we had for the second video back to do what it did on that Death Wish 2 video, that's awesome. And that only happens from, people going to it because the algorithm hasn't picked up on it yet. So we thank you guys so much for that.
Absolutely. And that also shows me and the world the power of Charles Bronson.
That's right.
He's amazing. And yeah, so definitely glad to have our YouTube audience now on board and keep on listening, because not only will you get this episode this week, this Blackbelt 2, later in the week, you're going to get the Blackbelt 1 conversation, and then we'll get you caught up on some of the 2025 podcasts, because Full Contact will also be up later this week. So subscribe to the YouTube channel if you have not already done so. Hit the little notification bell. So whenever Ryan decides to put these things up, it immediately, your phone will say, there's a new episode up for your listening pleasure.
I'm on a pretty good day cadence. I just don't have the hour quite nailed down
So
yet.
anytime. It can happen at any time, folks. So it's best to just have your notification bell on.
We drop it like some like fancy designer just randomly drops,
Right.
designer
don't know.
clothes. You got to
You got to
be
be
in the know.
and you can be. So yes, again, welcome YouTube listeners. Now let's get into Black Belt 2, Fatal Force. Black Belt 2, and Chris, you had mentioned this. This is a 1989 movie, but
Yes, and so people who are wondering why that's
yeah,
odd, that's because Black Belt 1 came out 3 years
right.
after that.
Black Belt 1 is 1992, but the situation is it was actually released as Spider, and that will make sense in a little bit. In Germany,
Spider with a
with a
Y.
Y.
This actually all works with my AI theory.
All right.
so.
Well, you'll have time to present that, I'm sure. But yeah, it was released in Germany in 1989, August 8th, 1989, according to IMDb. And yeah, it has Spider. So then it was later released in the United States with the title Black Belt 2 Fatal Force, even though it is completely, absolutely unrelated to 1992's Black Belt, which again we did discuss. You could check it out in the archives on your favorite podcasting app, or stay tuned to the YouTube channel because we'll be throwing that up there. But yeah, released in 93.
So
yes.
I got the gimmick that they're not related. We've seen other times where like the sequel is in name only, but they're actually not like same studio, or they're not even like supposed to be related.
Well, so it's the Roger Corman influence. So, not to bury the lead, but Black Belt with Don the Dragon Wilson was a huge hit on the rental market. That's why to this day we call it one of the video store era classics. Huge hit on cable. So it was basically to cash in on a hit title. Now, they milked Don the Dragon for all he was worth. I mean, they had the Blood Fist series. They went, 8 strong with those. All some of our personal favorite movies. Speaking for myself and Brain, I'm not sure how many you, Ryan, have watched. But this was really, hey, Black Belt did well. We don't have Don Wilson. We don't have Matthias Hughes. We don't have anything related to that film. What can we do? Oh, we've already got this in the can. And let's mix it with footage from a couple of other films. There's a couple of other instances where there's another film. So this was almost like an Americanized Godfrey Ho job. This was a cut and paste.
Also, a
slapped a new
shit
title
ton of
on it.
additional dialogue. So
Yeah,
much ADR.
And I mean, and I noticed that Brain has this note for when we actually meet the character of Spider, but Blake Bahner, the lead actor here, definitely not at the skill level of Mr. Don the Dragon Wilson, but they decided to steal a page from what they did with some of those films, the Black Belt and the Blood Fist movies, and they gave him a falsified kickboxing championship uh,
Oh.
accommodation. So Blake Bonner was not an actual WKF kickboxer. I don't even think there was a WKF at the time.
Interesting.
So they falsified his accolades in an effort
Stolen
to,
kickboxing
I
valor,
guess,
you
push him.
bastard.
This is, to make a wrestling reference, this is Scott Hall and Kevin Nash leaving WWF, and Blake Bonner is the fake Razor.
Slice and Dice Ramirez. Oh. So yeah.
Which is funny that you say that because Blake Bonner was actually on a couple episodes of Days of Our Lives earlier in his career playing a character named Raul Ramirez.
Yeah, he looks like a soap opera kind of guy. He looks like a Silk Stockings kind of guy, but I don't think he is.
No.
And yeah, so another thing that really dates this as an 80s movie was the fact that it begins in I should point out that the Tubi version that I watched was 78 minutes. IMDb says it was 83 minutes. So
Do you really need the
no,
extra
I was going to
5
say
minutes?
thank you, Tubi. If there is actually another,
Was that maybe that was a secret fourth movie
Maybe.
that was shoehorned
Maybe.
into this thing?
I swear to God, if the Internet Archive eventually uploads Black Belt 2 Fatal Force, the director's cut, the world as I know it might just be coming to an end.
We'll have a head-to-head special episode of that and American Samurai director's cuts.
No. So yeah,
People on the street, Brain, are
I've
talking
heard,
about it.
I've heard that. So there's no sense in us talking about it. Everybody else is already doing it. But yeah, 5 minutes last Tubi. Thank you so very much. But yeah, the movie.
Tubi's really out there trying to just redeem the whole streaming market, aren't they?
They're doing what they could do. The movie starts in Vietnam. And, you know, that was not something like by the 90s, the Vietnam movies were not really a thing. That was a very big thing in the 80s. So that kind of tells you that this was a 80s type movie. And we get some stats about the casualties and that there was 2,500 soldiers missing in action, including Kevin J. Pendleton, who they just leave. They just straight up leave this man. I want to say something about before we get too into this. The whole beginning of this movie was like, it felt like it was a sizzle reel for like at a film market. Like, hey, here's some of the interesting titles Cali Films has coming for you. We've got this Vietnam drama, and then we've got this Maverick Cop movie, and then we've got this other movie that's Vietnam, but it's in Hawaii. Don't you want to buy these movies from us? Like, all this stuff was hitting so quickly, and none of it felt related for a long while.
Including action star Kevin J. Pendleton.
I didn't know. It was like, is this all supposed to be together, or is it like you were saying, Chris? Is this one of those damn Godfrey Ho type movies where they're just putting stuff together? And somehow,
Yeah, this was the cut part of the cut and paste.
Because
It's almost like the unfinished, unreleased Canon Films reel that surfaced a while back. Just not as endearing as Canon Films.
Yeah, so let me get back to it. So Kevin J. Pendleton is left, and like it doesn't make sense why they even leave him. They're just like, fuck you, you're done. We're not taking you back. And there was no reason that they couldn't. But so that happens, and then we cut to Los Angeles, supposedly.
With very flimsy walls.
And this is just like there's an arms deal, which I feel like, didn't we just do this last week? There was an arms deal, and
there's always an arms deal.
I guess, I mean, at the point I didn't know who the hell these people, but there's like detectives, like plainclothes cops there, but then some uniformed officers show up. Like, shouldn't this have been, I don't know, like, hey guys, don't come around here, we're doing something over here? But these uniformed cops show up, and then that causes all sorts of chaos, and then we find out the other guys are the detectives, and there's a chase scene, and there is some quality motorcycle stunts. I was impressed with I don't think that was really Blake Bahner under that motorcycle helmet, but I may be wrong. But, I mean, this guy's stealing other titles, so he may have stole a motocross championship too. I don't know.
Well, the stunt work from our man Spiro.
Yeah. It, I don't know if it was Spiro Rosado's level, but it was pretty damn good.
Well, if you're entertained by the acumen to motorcycle driving, can I interest you in crossing the very fabric of our dimensions?
Yeah, because once the actual like vehicular mayhem, now it's a foot race, and yeah, Ron, you saw it. Tell us what happens, because
they run behind the. Yeah, there's like an apartment complex in a downtown. You've all seen them. You know how they look, and they run around the back side of it, and then all of a sudden we're at what is very clearly a backyard like California Hills pool party with like a single story house with the patio and a pool in the back. And there's a bunch of people that go running through this, and then they're like back in a stairwell hallway of like the lobby of a very clearly downtown building, and they run to the elevators. I have no idea.
They ran through two different movies.
Absolutely.
There is one movie, and
apparently it's his dad's place. I don't know. This whole his dad's place lives inside the lobby of this.
He's an ambassador, so he has his own apartment complex.
And if you're listening, no, it's not like a pool area at the
Right. No,
apartment
it's clearly a
complex. Like, it is
backyard.
very clearly
it's
a backyard.
The only movie, and I know you've seen this one, Ryan, that had worse interdimensional action was Young Rebels. Remember that? Young Rebels? And
that is what Tubi wanted to play after this.
you should have just watched it, because that one's a piece of shit too, but it's an entertaining piece of shit. We should probably
Was that the piece of shit algorithm on Ryan's
we should
Tubi?
probably that's one we should probably put down on the list here. But
it really felt like this was a Mystery Science Theater piece without the commentary.
yeah, I'm surprised they haven't done it. But
Absolutely.
yeah, that one in Young Rebels, like they fight and they are clearly in two different, like there's close-up shots that are clearly not in the same room that the other fight was, but it's all right. But yeah, we get that, and they end up on a rooftop, as things often do. And the son who was doing illegal arms dealings, and he's the son of the ambassador, he's got a briefcase full of money, because that's, when you have an arms deal, you get money. And
they have the longest sustained fight scene of just throwing punches at each other.
And
not really like choreography as much as just standing there and exchanging blows.
It's almost like Blake Bahner is not a skilled martial artist.
He actually gets knocked the F out.
Every kick he throws, I could throw better.
Ooh.
Challenge.
I think that my Taekwondo training.
I think I smell a YouTube video, a YouTube exclusive coming up.
A split screen. I haven't actually studied under a sensei or a teacher in 30 years.
I'm sure Dale Jacoby would gladly teach you, get you back in shape, so you could challenge Blake Bahner for the first ever Bulletproof Action Invitational.
If Blake Bahner wants to come out of hiding.
Oh, hiding now.
That's where he is.
Whoa. Yeah.
Because I believe, I do not recall who it was that dropped this knowledge on us, but this was way back when I actually did a written review of this film. That was probably my first year on the staff. So we're probably talking about 6-7 years ago. But they were researching some of our low budget favorites and non-favorites, and found out that Blake Bahner either was working or owned a construction company, and they called to ask him about his film career and his supposed kickboxing credentials. And I believe they were hung up on that. Blake Bahner did not take too kindly to it. So I think he wants to forget this part of his life. Maybe not as much as I wish I could forget what this film has done to me over the years, but nonetheless, I don't think he's too eager to go reliving the glory days of Brad Spider.
May 8th, 2017 is when you posted that review.
Wow, okay, so we're approaching the 8-year anniversary.
And I would be, now that you say he's in the construction business, you may want to walk back some of your comments, or you may end up in a foundation somewhere.
Maybe he's the working man.
I don't think he's the working man. Now you're
gotcha.
I don't think he's working.
Funny thing though, the dead internet theory pretty much picks the actual zenith of the internet right around that time. So it's quite possible that article is what caused the downfall of the
Thank you,
internet.
Toyman.
You guys.
So yeah, he gets, to Ryan's point, Blake Bahner gets, he's like, ends up in a pile of garbage that's on the, why is there garbage on this roof? This is the rooftop of where like an ambassador lives. Why is there like trash and stuff up on there? Or is this like a building next door?
Yeah, the spray paint.
What's going on?
It's very dark. Well, you can't even tell because it's dark. You don't know if they're fighting in the shadows or fighting on a moonlit rooftop.
Well, he kicks the guy, the kid, and the briefcase goes flying open. So there's cash flying out, and then of course the kid himself. And I say kid. I'm not trying to make it like he's 4.
He's like
he's.
But before we get there, we cut to the people on the ground, and they are just completely stone-faced,
right,
not reacting to anything that they're seeing.
Yeah.
And notice how all the money fell in like a perfectly arranged scatter. Like it kind of looked like, if a guy, like a wrestler, had like confetti, or like when Goldust had the glitter falling, it would kind of fall all around them. All of the money that's supposed to be flying and
Right.
blowing in the wind from his briefcase is pretty much just scattered all around his body.
It's also one of the first times that we get very clear additional dialogue that's not even the same actor. Like it audibly sounds like a very grittier voice, and it's just like, "Oh, help me, man!" Oh, it's like out the back.
Well, yeah. So the son of the ambassador, he falls, but Blake didn't want to do all that, so it's Brad Spider. Brad's like, oh no, and he grabs him, but you can't get a good grip. The ambassador's son falls to his death. The ambassador calls Brad a bastard. Thank you.
And that's about the end of it. That really has no more ramifications in the
Right,
story.
it does not. And also, Brad's partner Lee is shot in the leg at some point around the same time.
Also, has very little ramifications in the story if you really think about it.
And then we get a news report that the no holds barred crime buster Brad Spider is at it again. And then we meet the chief of police, Toyman.
My old friend.
Toyman, please share.
So back to the original article, we meet Chief O'Donnell, and if you thought that just the name was Irish, oh no, we have a very stereotypical Irish police chief. And that doesn't mean that he likes to drink. It doesn't mean that he's like big and gruff. It means that he is talking as if he wants a bowl of Lucky Charms.
Well, and I would say that's about 95% of the time. About
Complete
5%
over
of
the
the
top.
time, it just drops completely. He drops the accent completely about 5% of the time.
I believe in my article, I put cartoonish Irish accent. And folks, if you go back and reread the article about the torturous experience of viewing Blackbelt II was for me, there is a comment, it should still be there, from the actor John P. Delaney, who played the chief, who kind of laughed off my commentary and complimented my review. So, as much as Blake Bahner doesn't want to hear it from the people who are watching the films that he's taken part in, John P. Delaney, if you ever see this, hear this, listen, sir, thank you for 8 years ago taking 2 seconds out of your day to laugh at my description of your character here.
I will link that article in the comments of the
Please
YouTube or in the description of the YouTube video if you're listening.
Cartoonish? Okay, maybe a bit. Good review. John P. Delaney. Very good. And then, as I mentioned a few minutes ago, we go to Hawaii.
So let's add a third location in the first.
Yeah, at this point, you have what the hell did Kevin J. Pendleton being left behind in Vietnam, and then Brad Spider and Lee Stokes? What do they have? What is the relation here? Well, fuck you. That's what the relation is at this point. So then it goes to Hawaii, and now I'm like, what, Hawaii? And there's what is going on in Hawaii? I mean, I've never been, but why is there like a prison camp? And what the hell's going on in Hawaii? That real estate's so expensive. Who the hell how did the prison camp afford that land? Anyway. And there's apparently a rescue mission going on, and it's one of those classic, but it is and it isn't, Chris. It's one of those fake outs. Those action movie fake outs where you think you're seeing something for real, but it's really just training. But this is extreme training because they're just killing people.
Yeah, I'm wondering if it seemed that they took a little bit of stock footage and interspersed it with some different footage here. So I'm wondering if they got an actual war scene, because you are seeing explosions, grenades being thrown, people being shot. It's not like, oh, hey, we just shot this guy with blanks. Like, no, they're shooting. Like, this is like a total round of Call of Duty happening before your eyes.
Oh, the best one, though, is when they blow up one of the guard towers, and the mannequin for the guard just comes flying head first through the roof and through like a table of cards of people playing the game of cards. But it's so like abruptly, like clearly just a mannequin chucked down in the middle of this. It's hilarious.
People are running around on
Yeah.
fire. Like, what type of exercise is this? And, you mentioned the Hawaiian real estate. It is amazing how much industrial LA and Hawaii and Vietnam all seem to resemble the
Right.
Philippines.
It is something special. Uh
And they all again use very thin walls.
you don't need
like
thick
paper,
walls in the Philippines.
I guess.
You need the walls to breathe because it's too humid. We meet Jeffrey Stokes. Oh, okay. Now we find out he was a deserter. And Ryan, he was in Vietnam. You know how long he was in Vietnam for, Ryan?
Oh, there seems to be a common thread here. He must have been waiting on old Chuck Norris to come save him because he was there for 10 years.
He was. And he's brought back by these mercenaries who have this like training camp. And now we get another connection because we meet Roderick Pendleton. And he is the father of Kevin J. Pendleton. And these guys are like, oh, see, we found this guy over in Vietnam, and he thinks he may have seen your son. So now if you give us money, we'll go get your son just like we got this guy. So Jeffrey comes in there and he says, oh, yeah, I saw him and blah, blah, blah.
I'll just throw this out there for anybody that will get the reference. But if you've ever watched I Think You Should Leave Now on Netflix, this whole movie feels like the table sketch.
I don't know what that is.
If you know what that is,
I have not seen that, but I have not watched it yet. But in relation, the first time I watched this movie, it made me want to leave my house.
Yeah. It might make I hope it doesn't make people turn this off. That's my only fear. So yeah, there's this whole mercenary. The main mercenary guy, his name is Ed Skinner. Not to be confused with Steve Kern. Or the principal in Springfield. This is Ed Skinner. So yeah, Pendleton, of course, he's desperately wants his son back. It's been 10 years, probably obviously even more than that because he was shipped out before that. So he's like, yeah, you do whatever. But at some point now, Stokes is like, wait a minute, I've done my part. I bet you they're going to just get rid of me. So he escapes, and now things are finally kind of coming together, Chris. These stories are now having somewhat of a thread that now it doesn't just feel like three completely different movies pieced together.
Yeah, I mean, if this movie, let's go off the original Spider release, 1989. So say it's being filmed in 88, early 89. You're talking about 20 years prior for Vietnam. So you're supposed to take the word of this guy, oh, I might have seen your kid around Vietnam at some point in the last 2 decades, even though I'm all strung out. It's not like, oh, hey, I saw him on this street. Like if you go and section off these 10 blocks, you might be able to find him. No, let's just go down to Vietnam and find this needle in a haystack.
That I could at least accept because this is a father who wanted desperately his son to still be alive. So he'll believe any little grain of anything. Like he's filled with hope. And that makes sense. That part I won't chastise them for.
But Stokes, who was filled with dope, he's pretty much like a strung out junkie. But before he actually does get away from these mercenary guys, you can tell it's like he almost wants to confess to Pendleton, like, get me the hell out of here. Like these guys are a scam, like they're running a game on you. And Skinner kind of grabs him and he's like, you're home, you're safe. Like they're basically treating it as PTSD when he's really just trying to escape.
And even Pendleton's like, hey, shouldn't we like get this guy? I don't know, feed him or something. Like, let's do something for him. Why are you? But they're like, oh, they're acting like they have to slowly get him back. You can't just have that culture shock of like, you're back, baby.
They also play hot potato with who the villain of this movie even is. Like, you've got this like
Brad Spider,
dastardly. You've got this like dastardly mustached guy.
No, who was the producer? Roger Corman is the villain of this movie.
Yeah, that's right.
And Brain, did you notice? I mean, I don't know if you went back and read the old article or while you were putting your notes together, but Pendleton, played by an actor known as Paul Holmes or Paul Holm, depending
Right.
on what his credit is and whatever movie he's in. He was the villain, the evil, corrupt businessman, kind of taking a page out of China O'Brien's book in One Man Army, which gave the
Oh, Jerry
world
Pelt.
the Jerry Pelt jokes.
Oh yeah, Jerry Pelt, one of the toughest realtors I've ever known. So all right, we got this Hawaii stuff going on, but now let's go back to LA, shall we? Because Brad is going to
guess.
pay. He's going to visit his boy Lee, who, he's got that bullet. He took that shot to the leg. He's going to get a month off with pay, so he's sitting back. He's got a beer. He's got his lady. He's living the life in LA until he receives a collect call from Honolulu.
I love this is like a little bit that I really love when movies do this. This is like some of the small things that just competent movies don't do. Is like the lady, which again I'm pretty sure is as ADR because she's off screen and you hear it, it just doesn't sound like natural. She's like, it's a call for you, it's a collect call, and then he puts the phone to his ear and they're like, this is a collect call. They established that information three different ways, like all within 5 seconds. Like this is not something competent movies do.
This was before the days of 1-800-COLLECT.
That just takes you back to wrestling
sure
days because all the
Constant
times
commercials,
10,
all the
10,
commercials,
220. It's his long presumed dead brother Jeffrey, but Jeffrey's saying stuff that only Jeffrey would know. So this isn't some kind of identity theft situation.
And if you didn't know, it's his he calls him
Little
little brother. Little brother. They got him little brother.
So he gets this and he's in trouble. I need you. So Lee and his crutch, he doesn't hesitate. He's like, I gotta go. So Lee's wife is obviously worried because what the hell is he doing? He's supposed to be resting for a month. He just took off.
But even that really, like, he didn't have to have the gunshot played no part. He could have just been at home and gotten that call.
Maybe they needed him to be off work to be able to go to Hawaii.
Because unlike Brad Spider, he follows the rules. I don't know.
I feel like we see cops leave for various reasons all
the time. He's leaving. He's going to the airport. Brad
isn't an airport, Brain. Isn't an airport.
And Brad,
if so, it has some of the most lax security I've ever seen.
Again, this is a long time ago. Brad does catch up with him, and he's screaming. I mean, nowadays, if you screamed at an airport, I bet you'd be taken in a room and somebody's hand would be up your ass in about 10 minutes. So don't scream.
He puts his
Blackbelt II done with puppets?
No.
He has the one part where he's running through security, and for whatever reason, there's like 2 sets of scanners for the bags. I don't know how that works. And he like hops over a fence, and a police officer walks up and puts his arms out, and then just gives up instantly. It looked like like an indie wrestling show security, but that was about what that was.
So
just stick your arms out, nerve damage style.
So yeah, he's like, I gotta go. Now these guys, you would think you'd be like, man, if you're going, I'm going too, brother. Let's do this thing. But no, he's like, your brother's dead. Your brother is dead. What a dick friend Brad Spider is.
I'm seeing your theory about him being the villain of the movie now. I'm on board with this.
I mean,
it's like Cobra Kai. Daniel was the real villain all along. Johnny was the hero.
It's like, you're a freaking you never do what you're supposed to do. Just go with your buddy.
I will say this about this movie, though. You cannot say that every single actor and performer in this movie is not giving it their goddamn all.
They are.
They're shouting at the screen. They're just yelling. They're running. Everyone's running around like acting crazy. They look like a troupe of like the volunteer local theater, but they're giving it their all, by God.
That foot chase in the beginning wouldn't have been great even if they had the Benny Hill music.
We go to a strip club at some point. I think it was
What a
the
strip club.
bottoms up club, the same bottoms up club from a movie we just talked about. Full Contact. It was the same sign.
It did look familiar. Yeah, like you mentioned it. I just figure all these movies
Like
they
it was
use
in
the
the
same.
Philippines.
All of them are based in LA, so I just assumed.
Mm-hmm.
So I believe, not I believe, but I have read that a lot of these Corman movies were just, hey, we've got almost what they did with the one that Dale Jacoby was in when they had the arena for Kickboxer 2. Why can't Blood
Yes.
Match?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So from what I understand, a lot of these Corman things were like, hey, we've got the time, we've got some extra film lying around. Oh, hey, you're in town. Let's just like film this stuff and it
This
might
movie should
go
have been called "You're
unfinished.
in Town."
And let's just hand it off to the editors and see what they can do with it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's almost like they had a backlog of unfinished stuff to go and do their best Godfrey Ho
Right.
impersonations.
I mean, Canon did some of that too, didn't they? If they had like a
Watch
set
yourself.
or like a location book, no, I mean, but if they had like a expensive location book, they would maybe shoot a few things there like that were in the works, so they could get the most out of it, or effects or stunts or whatever. They did some stuff like that too, didn't they?
No. Canon.
I swear they did.
Menachem Golan was a saint. That's all I have to say.
He did beat
Canon
Beat Street.
would do like 15 movies at the same damn time. So no, they were doing what I mean. They repurpose music a lot, but I don't know that they repurpose shots. I could be wrong.
Oh, I'm not saying shots as much as they would shoot the things.
Oh yeah, like they took
individually, but they would take advantage of having
they did
that
American
location
Ninja,
book.
and then right after that they did POW: The Escape. Yes.
Yeah. I'm not saying that they reuse footage, just that they would get the most out of if they booked like an airport for shooting, they might shoot a few things while they've got it as opposed to needing to. So it's just efficient. They're
They
efficient.
certainly were. That's how you churn out 14 movies a year. So Lee does arrive on the Big Island, and he checks into the motel that his brother told him to check into, and we get the brotherly reunion. We get some Nam flashbacks where Jeffrey was hiding for 10 years. He was a deserter. Like he was just like, screw it. They're putting us in these shitty situations. I'm done. I'm out. So he was just like hiding in the jungle, which is very thick.
That's right. As we hear, this is one of the many times I text Brain my observations as watching this movie. We're getting this very emotional, like recounting of this traumatic experience. And he talks about the thickness of the jungle where you couldn't even move. And we immediately cut to a shot of a man running full sprint through an open clearing in the jungle.
Mm-hmm.
It's perfect.
Perfect timing. Skinner and the crew show up. The brothers Stokes are soon no more. Although I'll tell you what, it took a hell of a lot to kill Lee, Chris. I mean, you thought he was dead, and he pops up like Kane or something. He's got a little bit of fight left in him.
He did the Undertaker sit-up. It was Skinner, again, not the principal from The Simpsons, who went to go and kind of make sure he was dead since his back had been riddled with about 18 bullets from machine guns. And Lee actually grabbed him by the throat as if he was going to stand up and give him a choke slam. And then he was just punched to death. Skinner just kind of knocked him down. It's like, okay, good, you're dead now.
And then, like, where are the cops? Like, because this is loud and this is going on, and like, there's no siren.
A lot of thin walls were being blown apart.
No sirens in the background or anything.
I think they used real bullets on this movie.
Why not? And then you find out like the cops are having a pizza party.
Hey, that's cheaper than paying them.
So
Office morale low, throw a pizza party.
That's right.
Are you talking about the character cops getting paid or the actual actors getting paid? Because you might be right on both
I was
counts.
going to say probably a little bit of both columns.
Word does get back to Los Angeles that Lee is dead. And even worse, they found drugs in his bag.
Your partner had some Lucky Charms in his bag.
Thank you,
Something like
Leprechaun. Brad Spider thinks it's all bullshit, much like this movie. And he's like, I'm going to go to Hawaii. Why didn't you go in the first place? Maybe your boy wouldn't be dead right now, you bastard.
And see, we missed an opportunity for this to be our St. Patrick's Day podcast.
Yeah, we did. But you know what?
We're always trying to tie stuff in. We missed. Sorry, John P. Delaney.
It's okay. I mean, because it does work for the day it's being posted, which is April Fool's Day.
Oh, it definitely does.
Any of the Leprechaun movies would be a better
You'd have
watch.
to be a fool to watch this film.
You'd have to be a fool to purchase this film. And I think one of us actually made that mistake.
Not me.
Which one? I was going to say, well, wait till the end to reveal.
Well, we know it's not Ryan Campbell.
We know it's not Ryan because we said
I wasn't supposed to spend $350 on the
out of print PAL format
DVD
VHS.
One of 6 that are included on a DVD that was from a Turkish pagoda.
What the hell does? It's not even a thing. So Brad goes to the same motel.
Bodega. That's what I was looking for.
Anyway,
we're thinking of
it's a bodega and a pagoda.
Yeah. Ryan Campbell just stopped.
Clearly, listen, you guys have never been to Turkey. You're not as cultured as me.
No, the only turkey I know is the one that we're watching right here.
The cleaning lady. Boy, she had a lot to say.
Oh, everybody was using this film to try to really get some.
She was like the cleaning lady in Johnny Dangerously. She had all the info.
Just trying to get some accents on tape. Everyone's like, I got this new accent I'm going to try out. I'm going to go down to the set today and we're going to roll it out. She's throwing out an accent. We got the Irish guy's accent.
I should have done this whole show as Lord Alfred Hayes. Now that I think about it. Oh, well. Maybe next year. So, yeah, she's got the info. There were 2 guys in that room. I heard them talking, but only one body was taken out.
Bum, bum, bum.
So now Brad Spider decides to go to the police station, and there he sees Ted Kanaka. And I have seen this gentleman in almost every Philippines shot movie that I've ever watched. It's either him or James Gaines, the real James Gaines. Have you seen this Henry Strzelkowski? Who has?
He's one of the very few people in IMDb that actually have a headshot.
Yeah, he's been in a lot of things.
Almost all the other ones are gray bubbles.
Chris, you've had to have seen this man in other things.
I have. I mean, I do my due diligence and do my research. He was in not 1 but 2, but 3 Jerry Trimble movies: Live by the Fist, One Man Army, and Stranglehold.
He was.
And he was also in, if I'm not mistaken, as I scroll through, a film, the sequel to a film. No, I'm sorry, he was in the first one. Because there is a part of this cut and paste job. So a film called Silk.
I saw her. She's in this movie.
You are quite familiar with. Yes, there are pieces of silk.
Right, not actual silk, the movie Silk. I saw Silk sitting at a desk.
Tanaka played a character in Silk and Silk 2, a different character.
But so does Vic Diaz, Chief Bill Akita, a.k.a. the Samoan Gorilla. He's in Silk.
I don't think he has a single piece of original dialogue in this movie.
It doesn't matter.
Bill Akita. Like all of his dialogue, I think, was dubbed.
But I knew I saw Silk.
It's funny because there's a character that we're about to get introduced to called Weasel. Yeah. And as I was going through the cast list, Weasel, the actor that played him, was in
not Pauly Shore.
Spider, No, he was in a movie called Saigon Commandos,
Yes.
which footage from that was used for the army scenes
Makes
here.
sense.
He was in Spider, and he was in Blackbelt II. The man was in 3 movies, and they're all this one.
Congratulations.
Get your most bang for your buck. If you're gonna make piece of dog shit, make it 3 times.
So yeah, Brad goes to the police station. Ted is like really excited to speak to him. He's just
From the big city.
he's a big city guy, and he's excited about him being there. And he's oh, you're here about the other big city guy that got killed, of course. But then the chief's like, I'm a chief, so I got to be a problem. And then he's all right. And then then Spider catches up with Kanaka at the KFC.
I'm
Because
pretty
that's
sure
where you go
Kanaka
when
was
you're
eating a
in Hawaii.
hamburger. Yeah. It looked like he was eating a hamburger. I don't know.
The
I couldn't
menu
test
could
it,
be
but
different in Hawaii.
Could be. Do they have hamburgers in Hawaiian KFCs?
Maybe back in
Let us know in the
1989.
comments below.
Maybe not now. But yeah, Kanaka mentioned, that's what Chris had mentioned. He mentions Weasel. So we go to the Bottoms Up Club.
We totally just went right over the previous scene in the Bottoms Up Club,
What about it?
where it must have been a Tuesday
Oh
evening
boy.
or maybe a Tuesday afternoon. Because I got to tell you, they had the vets working that night. And we get what may be the only boob flex I've ever seen in
Yeah,
cinema.
that's right.
Locks eyes with someone across the room as a stripper and decides to just flex.
Make him bounce.
That's right. That must have worked when that lady was in her prime 20 years before this movie was made.
Well, the bar fight rule is followed, which is good. Brad Spider getting in bar fight. That's what you're supposed to do when you're.
I like how they don't mess around with anything like talking either. He literally just
Right.
walks
No
up
need
in
to
the
talk.
vicinity of these guys and then just punches the dude in the face and that
No
starts
need
the
to
fight.
talk.
The over-exaggerated headbutt, like that, like wild-eyed
Yep.
stare.
Oh yeah. So the next stop, our man Brad Spider is going to go see Mr. Pendleton, and wants to know if he's ever heard about Jeffrey Stokes, and pulls a gun on him when he's not cooperative. But then Pendleton's daughter, Karen, pulls a gun on Spider. So we're not getting anywhere fast here, folks. But
Karen, who is literally just the Deus Ex Machina for this entire movie. Like, she's the daughter, but also apparently is good with a gun. And we're going to learn later, like last week, she can also fly a helicopter.
Right. Everyone could just fly a helicopter. Like, it's just a.
Were they giving out lessons for free, like
Apparently.
at the town rec center?
Apparently so.
I must have missed that. I mean, you got, furniture delivery guys that apparently knew how to fly helicopters.
Everyone.
And not to mention that
Gary
Spider's
Robbins knew
confronting
how to fly a
Pendleton.
helicopter.
Gary Robbins was bench pressing helicopters.
In the deep woods of the Canadian wilderness, that's probably the only way to get around. It might have worked.
Mm-hmm.
But Spider's confronting Pendleton about being a part of like this drug smuggling that's going on, this heroin ring or whatever. And Karen Pendleton's like, get your gun off my father, like leave him alone. And then she's like, you know what? Like, my dad's an asshole, but he misses my brother, so I can't like turn him in or I can't turn against him. So it's almost like, okay, so now we've added the layer of the fact that this guy's not just looking for his kid, but he's also a heroin dealer. So he's actually a piece of shit too.
Mm-hmm. But he misses his son, so we can give him a pass, apparently.
The sympathetic piece of shit.
We're also going to clearly make what appears to be some attempt at a romance, but then that never goes anywhere.
It does not.
Yeah, the only nudity in this film comes at the senior night in the strip club.
Yeah, flexing boobs.
So Spider goes back to his good friend Kanaka, and he finds out that Pendleton, he's like the most prominent citizen in these parts, and that's why the chief isn't probably going to mess too much with him. But then what does he ask for? He asked for some kind of report, or I don't know, something like, "Oh yeah, I can look that up for you. I'll drop it off on my way home. I'm working the graveyard shift." All right, meet me
Foreshadowing.
at the motel. So yeah, he goes to the motel with the paperwork that he has for his good friend Brad Spider. The cleaning lady's there and is like, "Hey, there were some guys messing in your room earlier."
There were some guys messing in your room, lady.
Thank you. Thank you for that actual audio from the film. And yeah, Kanaka opens the door and is blown up.
Everyone
But
near
not
this
blown up
man
too
dies.
much because we do see the dummy's body
Well, you don't have to, I don't know how
laying there.
intelligent the man was or not. What do you?
I knew that was coming. Obvious jokes are
Why do you
obvious.
insult the poor man? He's dead.
He's dead.
Well, anyway, he doesn't need his cop car, obviously. So Spider gets into the cop car and goes after Skinner, and we get a little Spider versus Skinner teaser. But we need this. We need this resolved by the end of the movie. So Spider goes and follows up with Karen, and she definitely knew way more than she mentioned the first meeting. And yeah, so Friedkin is using this money to bring in shipments, and it's not Kevin, it's the drugs. And Spider, I don't know, at some point he tells the chief about this, and the chief is actually like, "Yeah, I guess we probably should check this out. But we're also ready to just throw this bastard in jail if need be." Is that the gist of it?
I don't know. I'll give the movie this. Like, if you look away for 2
Yeah.
seconds, you got no freaking clue what's going on.
Yeah.
If
Well, it's
the
'cause you might have missed part of another movie.
yeah, if the Amazon guy comes to the door and you go get your package, by the time you come and sit back down, you're watching a whole different movie.
Yeah. That could be. That could be where I start getting a little foggy here towards the end because maybe I just
Maybe that 5 minutes would have just cleared
it
everything
probably
up.
could have, or I just was checking out.
Don't forget the cops were in on some of this stuff
You're right.
too.
There was some dirty
So not
cops.
only do we
We had
have
some dirty cops. You're right.
we have the whole Stokes plot, we have the Pendleton plot, we have the mercenary plot, we have the Pendleton being a drug dealer plot, we have the Pendleton daughter plot. Now we've got the dirty cops.
Which is all great because all of this stuff has been done before in movies. Like, not a single thread that this movie's pulling on hasn't been done a billion times, and there's not a template that's laid out of how to do it. And it still just has no idea how to get it right. I could give it credit if it was trying to do something different and unique and just didn't quite land it. But these are all like partner killed. He was into some stuff. The town rich guy is actually into some stuff, and the cops are dirty. All been done before. It's all there. You can figure out how to do it.
No, they don't want.
It's like, let's do all the best tropes in the worst possible way.
Exactly.
Which feeds me to my next theory that someone traveled into time machine, and this is actually the first AI generated movie. Tell me that if you watch something like this today in the year of our Lord 2025, you would not assume it was AI generated.
You'd be counting.
That someone just fed all the 80s action movies into a model, and then this is what it's spit
Somebody
out.
would have too many
This
fingers.
movie is AI. It's absolutely infuriating.
I guarantee if I go back and watch frame by frame, someone in this movie's got 6 fingers.
Well, Friedkin, it's like, okay, we got to go get this. We need that money, all that money from Pendleton now. But Pendleton's like, wait a minute. I'm not going to give it to you. And then Friedkin needs this money. He absolutely needs this money, apparently.
He freaking needs it.
So Pendleton's like at the safe, but he's like stalling, and Friedkin, being a fucking idiot, knocks the guy out. So now who the hell's going to open this safe? Well, nobody. So we'll just have to take him hostage and hope that his daughter will open the safe and give us the money. So that's plan B. But again, you're just making life harder on yourself, much like us watching this movie. Like, we just made our lives harder. It doesn't make sense. But anyway, Karen does show up with the money. And yes, Ryan, she can fly a fucking helicopter.
Of course. Second in a row, we got women and she doesn't even need to do cool moves. At least the lady last week did some
Oh
really
yeah,
sick,
she had a she
tricks.
was a really skilled pilot. Karen here, she knows how to leisurely go from place to place. She's not doing any side by sides and overtops.
Tracking with a
Right, no,
bus.
she's not doing that. And then, oh yeah, they're like, oh good, and they were like right out in the, like, we're gonna blow up the helicopter, make it seem like it was an accident, and like Skinner just like goes right up to the helicopter, like he just walks by her, and like screws around with like the tail end of that thing, and like everyone could see that he's doing something over there.
Yeah, but he was whistling, so that just diverted everyone's attention. Okay. Nothing to see here.
Me.
Or he was like 3 kids in a trench coat kind of thing. I don't know.
So, but now Spider.
This movie broke me, brain.
Spider is coming. You see, now you're going to appreciate missing action too. Spider and the cavalry come, and we get a Skinner and Spider the rematch, and some other stuff happens. Please, somebody fill me in, because I think my brain shut off at this point.
I mean, the scene that lives rent free in my head since the first time I watched this movie was Karen Pendleton gets shot. So her father goes mad and decides, instead of, grabbing a gun and firing aimlessly or anything, he's going to get in the helicopter, do a U-turn, find Friedkin standing on the stairs of this, abandoned factory or whatever at just the exact time he's aiming for that area of the staircase, scream into the camera, and crash the helicopter
Because
into
he
them.
also knew how to fly a helicopter.
Well, who do you think taught his daughter?
Karen
Dine was pretty hilarious.
There's some continuity. Okay.
I audibly laughed out loud though when Karen died, because it's like the most anticlimactic. Like, gets shot, looks up, head goes back, dead. So she's dead.
Well,
okay.
They wasted all the "I'm still alive" teases on Lee Stokes since he returned from the grave 85 times in a 2-minute scene.
To be fair though, yeah, Guy did just find out that this whole endeavor to find his son was probably for naught, and his son's been dead. His daughter just died, so yeah, he's just flying that helicopter straight into it.
Yeah.
And then I'm pretty sure Skinner falls into a hole of rebar or something.
Naturally.
Yes. Yeah. It's the kickboxing champion delivers a fatal slow motion punch. I mean, look, and the movie that I'm about to mention is charming in its own way, but the reason that Undefeatable was deemed the best fight scene of all time when it went viral on YouTube is because this was its competition.
Right.
Because that epic Skinner Spider fight is and now let's also mention that Spider, which seems like a ripoff of Cobra, is now veering into Rambo territory because Brad Spider shows up with the black tank top, with the belt of bullets wrapped around his body, just firing away with these giant machine guns before he gets into fisticuffs. So this guy impersonated not one, but 2 different Sylvester Stallone characters through the course of this film, which was sewn together by bits and pieces of, 7 different movies.
He was more believable as a Rambo character than any of the others.
I would agree to that. Yeah. He looked the most natural when he was like just shooting guns and doing all that stuff. Yeah. Trying to pass off as
not by doing black belt stuff, not by being black belt II.
Well, I have a theory. At the end of the film, they seem to do a really long shot on the black police belt with the badge, to the point where I was like, is that the black belt? Is it a police belt? Is that what the gimmick is? I don't know.
Well, that somber look that they end the film on was probably big Blake Bahner thinking, shit, I didn't do enough kicks.
And I didn't do an accent.
Like, they're not going to go back and film more. They've already gotten a whole bunch of movies to add to the runtime. They're not going to need to film more. It'll cost them too much.
Yeah. Blackbelt II, Fatal Force. Your final thoughts, Ryan Campbell.
Don't watch this movie. Don't go listen to another one of our podcasts on the YouTube channel. This isn't like this movie's silly. Watch it for April Fool's. No, this was deliberately an April Fool's joke played on Brain and myself.
Yep.
And
I mean, Brain,
we got heat.
I want your
Me
final
and
thoughts
Toyman got
before mine,
heat.
though.
You want my final thoughts before yours?
I mean, because you know the backstory. I'll give the listeners a little bit of the backstory. So once Ryan's done, if Ryan's done, I want your final thoughts before I kind of close it out.
I'll take it away. Take it away.
I don't
Brain.
have very many. My favorite part of this movie was when I saw Silk. Everything else?
I thought you were going to say it was when you saw the credits.
Okay. My favorite part of the movie was actually, my favorite part may have been when I saw that it was 78 minutes. I'm like, well, I know it's bad, but at least it'll be over with quickly. Then I saw Silk. That was good. That popped me. And then, and I was starting to hum the theme song. And then, Silk's theme song, not this shit. And then the credits. That was good too. But yeah, no, this isn't good. The only thing I really ever saw Blake Bahner in before was a PM Entertainment movie. That wasn't among the very best of the PM Entertainment movies. So,
No, the white supremacist one.
I'm pretty
right?
sure Deadly Breed.
Deadly Breed. Yep.
I've seen. I reviewed that, and yeah, that's on the lower end of the PM scale. But probably compared to this, that was some of Blake Bahner's finest work. Yeah, this isn't good. Thanks for making me watch it.
I mean, you know, over the last couple of weeks, we've been kind of paying tribute to the unsung heroes, Jerry Trimble, David Bradley, Jeff Wincott. There is a reason why Blake Bahner does not end up on that list. There is a reason why he is a part of the April Fool's podcast.
I am glad. I will say
Ryan,
I
like
am glad that we did cover those gentlemen before. Like Blake Bahner didn't get covered before they did. That would have been insulting.
No, yeah, we've got to give credit where credit's due for sure. Ryan, I know a lot of the stuff that we've talked about recently is a first time watch for Ryan. So while I do feel bad for making him endure this and not really knowing the whole sordid backstory, I do like the fact that we were able to kind of mix it up on him and not just give him, a greatest hits mix CD of action films lately. But as I mentioned in the article, which Ryan's going to link, and Brain, you know the story from our many conversations over the last decade or so. I am such a fan of the first Black Belt movie, the original, the actual Black Belt movie with Don the Dragon Wilson. I actually got the VHS tape signed by the man himself several years ago. When Black Belt II first hit cable, my video store did not have it as a rental. So when it popped up on cable, I was like, oh my God, like Black Belt 2. Don Wilson's not in it, but this has to be awesome. This has to be some great martial arts action that I'm used to. And the several times that it was on HBO or Cinemax, whatever, I missed it, forgot to set the tape, whatever the case was. So I only found this movie, or only got to watch this movie after I found it in a Walmart that for some reason in the early 2000s, it was around 2003, 2004, had an entire end cap of Roger Corman VHS and DVDs. This is where I got all 8 Blood Fist movies on VHS. It's where I got all 3 of the Carnosaur movies. It's where I bought a great movie that I'm going to need to dig out of my DVD stash called Under Oath, which features Eddie Velez, aka Frankie the Dishpan Man from the A Team. Kind of like a knockoff of Gang Related, but it was a really good movie from when I remember watching it way back when. But this was the first movie I watched in that stash because I had waited so long to see it. I always wanted to tape it. It's such a great sequel. And by the time it was over, the amount of disgust and Brain, I will watch stuff that even you will kind of turn a blind eye to and be like, yeah, no way. That's all you. That's
Garbage
on you.
pail
You want to watch
kids.
that? That's your thing. Listen, let's not knock a classic here. We've both endured Godfrey Ho. We've seen, like I said at the beginning, we've kind of circled the drain of the action in the martial arts world. But there is nothing in this film that I like. I don't like the story. I don't like the actors. I don't like the acting. The fact that this movie was cobbled together is probably its most endearing thing. This really is a film that should be MST3K'd. I guess we're pretty much the ones doing it here a little bit, not so much knocking it for the actual verbiage or scenes as Joel or Mike and the Robots would do, but it's like a parody of action movies. We said it. It's got all the tropes, but none of them are done well. There are parts where you don't even know what movie is this new footage? Is this from Spider? Is this from Saigon Commandos? Is this from Silk? Like, where is all this coming from? And it's, if there was a melting pot of film reels in Roger Corman's basement, this is what you got out of it. And yeah, the only thing fatal was not the force in the subtitle. It was anything involving enjoyment or likability when it comes to this piece of celluloid.
So I would call it a piece of shit, but that's me. There you go.
Don't feed that into your projectors.
No, don't.
That's
No,
not
that
going to
won't
work
at
well.
all. So there you go. Blackbelt II, Fatal Force, our April Fool's special here on the Bulletproof Podcast. What do you think about this movie? Have you seen it? If you haven't, you probably shouldn't watch it. But if you've seen it, let us know what you think on social media at Bulletproof Pod.
So we can start a support
exactly. Survivors of Fatal Force. At Bulletproof Pod on X and Blue Sky, and at Bulletproof Action on Instagram, Facebook, and Threads. Speaking of Bulletproof Action, bulletproofaction.com. We wrapped up March, the Toyman. You had a Wonderful World of Disney classic that you talked about.
Yeah, Disney debuts on the Bulletproof Action website, which is not a Marvel or a Star Wars reference, but Ernie Reyes Jr., The Last Electric Knight, and the ensuing TV series Sidekicks, which aired on ABC. If you did not know that Disney at one point did a martial arts adventure / cop drama, they did. Back in 1986, they had a hit on their hands with The Last Electric Knight, which served as the backdoor pilot. And we got to see Ernie Reyes kick ass for the duration of 1986 with Gil Gerard, Buck Rogers for you science fiction fans out there, playing his guardian, also a tough cop. So a bit of an odd couple situation, but it was a show I really loved in my youth. Really got forgotten, kind of buried by Disney. You're not going to find it on Disney Plus, but some kind soul has thrown the series up on YouTube, as well as a very clear VHS rip of The Last Electric Knight. So I've been able to enjoy it in full over the last couple of months. So decided to go back and review it. So please go check out the latest No Surrender Cinema for that recap.
I can honestly say I never heard of that, or just completely blocked it out. I never watched it. I wrapped up with A Working Man and a little Reacher season 3, and then just yesterday, as this drops, you want to talk about piece together movies, check out my review of The Ninja Squad. That's right, folks. But April is a big month. Ryan Campbell, you're going to be quite busy because 2 series that you have been waiting for are coming back in April.
Yeah, I'm not going to know what to do with myself. We got Last of Us season 2 and season 2 of Andor, like running simultaneously. It's going to be nuts. I don't know if my Twitter fingers are going to be able to handle the constant. Andor, I'm a little disappointed. They're doing like 3 episode blocks to burn through the entire season in like a month, which kind of sucks because I like to just digest the episode, talk about it, share theories. Let's all communicate, get the hype up for the next episode. I feel like we're gonna lose some of that, but we're gonna burn through it. And Last of Us, I'm sure, is always gonna be really good. The first season was fantastic. If you've played the second game, you know what's coming. So yeah, gonna be an exciting month of April.
And another series is wrapping up in April, that being the Daredevil that Toyman, I'm sure you'll be giving us a recap of.
Yes, I already started with the pilot episode, not the pilot, but the first episode of Daredevil Born Again. You can read that review right now up on the website, but I will have a full season recap. I'm really enjoying it. about to catch up on this week's episodes after we end the recording here. But yes, please look for my recap of Daredevil Born Again, season 1, as it ends on Disney Plus.
And there's going to be some Tony Jaa dropping on streaming. I'll be taking care of that. Actually, that'll be tomorrow as this drops. And Netflix has got Havoc, starring Tom Hardy, coming out later this month. But also, I got a little alert that Bullet Train Explosion is also coming to Netflix, which I think I'll be checking that out.
Is that like part of the original or the Bullet Train?
No, this is just its own thing. It's like it seems like it's Speed. It's like Speed. This train cannot go below 100 kilometers per hour.
Ooh, I like ye.
So I'm gonna be checking that out as well. Next time here, you know what else is happening in April? It's WrestleMania, folks, and you know we like to go on the road to WrestleMania. And we're going to be doing that right here for the next 2 weeks on the podcast. And we need something big after this episode because, Chris, we're talking. He is in the main event this year at WrestleMania. A place he's very familiar with. John Cena, 12 rounds.
Yeah, it's nice. It'll be a family affair because, John Cena, as you know, my big brother, thanks to my one and only Raw appearance 11 years ago now, when his dad, John Cena Sr., a good friend of mine, was knocked out by Randy Orton, and Michael Cole announced us as the Cena family sitting at ringside. John's got 4 brothers, but I guess I'm the sixth one. I'm the sixth man when it comes to the Cena family. So yeah, we will be kicking off WrestleMania season with a look back at one of his fine entries into the world of action before he became a DC superhero.
12 rounds.
We really missed a chance here with the April Fool's joke saying that we were having John Cena.
Maybe we will have John Cena.
See, we can see that, but then you can't see him.
Right. Maybe John Cena will join us. Is that true, or am I just April fooling you? You'll have to listen to find out next week. And 2 weeks from today, how about this classic, Body Slam?
Oh, I can't wait to talk about that one. That one's always been a favorite. I know a couple of years ago I got that Blu-ray.
Yep.
That was one that I was eager to add to the collection.
I have it too, and it's never been opened.
That'll be a good chat.
But it will be opened for this.
A movie I've seen.
Do you have to open it? Is it on Tubi?
I'm going to open it. I've been needing an excuse to open it. I'm going to watch it on my Blu-ray.
He's going to open a Pepsi.
That's right.
Crack open some ho-hos and open that puppy up. It's also Brain's birthday month, so
it is
exciting.
Oh yeah, I'm very excited about that. Not at all.
Well, we should have waited for your birthday to watch Blackbelt II.
That's really horrible. What a piece of...
I mean, there is a connection to something you love, though. Because if you looked up Gary Rooney, who played Skinner, was in Death Wish 4, The Crackdown.
Why don't we just watch Death Wish 4, The Crackdown?
Look, I'm down. I'm down for any Death Wishes. You know that.
Well, we're going to be watching some stuff. But anyway, 12 rounds next week. 2 weeks from now, Body Slam. It is our road to WrestleMania. Final words. I would like to thank Matt over at the DTVC podcast for having me. And we talked some Martial Law 2 Undercover. That one should be out and available as you are listening to this. Again, check our social media. I'm sure I would have shared the links there. Also want to thank Sean Cavender for once again sharing some Bruceploitation VHSs with me. He's a madman when he's collecting these things, and when he gets duplicates, I get the duplicates, and I appreciate that because I am a believer in physical media forever.
I'm getting there the way this stuff is going.
Okay.
But
get on board. Get on board. Ryan Campbell, did you have anything else you wanted to say before we wrap things up?
One last plug for the YouTube channel. Again, definitely appreciate it. I know you all are on there and probably spend more time on there than you do on your cable box. So just head over to Bulletproof Action, drop us a subscribe. We would certainly.
And again,
appreciate
Black Belt, the first one that we discussed some time ago, will be added, as well as Full Contact. Toyman, I'm sure you have something you would like to say before we go.
I mean, I would like to thank both of you and gentlemen for sharing in the pain that I have felt over 2 decades since I first watched this film. For everybody listening, thank you for listening. And if you've decided to look this movie up on YouTube or Tubi, might even be on Pluto TV on demand for all I know, I am sorry in advance. But if you need a bad movie night, if you want to Mystery Science Theater it, if you drink, if you smoke, if you partake in anything
I
that
was just
alters
going to
your
say, bring some
mindset,
drinks.
this is this might be the movie for you, but otherwise, please do not make the mistake that I did because I actually spent money on this film at one point in my life, and my hatred for it is what fuels the refund in my mind.
There you go. Happy April Fools, everyone. We will see you again next week. Thank you so much for listening. And as always, stay tuned for more of the Bulletproof Podcast.